There was reports saying that the president said that he's sorry and he's disappointed in himself after meeting with the Muslim leaders. Do you think that the president could have done more to show sympathy towards Palestinian civilians who are being seen as even-handed?
I'm not going to discuss reports of private meetings. As I said earlier, the president understands there's strong feelings here on all sides. And as he's also said publicly, he doesn't want to see any more innocent civilians killed or wounded as a result of the fighting in Gaza. Not one. I mean, the right number of civilian casualties is 0. We understand there have been many, many thousands of them. And we understand that with each and every one of those data points is a grieving family. The president understands that. And that's why we're going to continue to urge our Israeli counterparts as they go back, they plan to go back to military operations, that they do it in the most discreet, deliberate, careful, cautious way possible.
The declared aim of this war by the Israelis is to destroy Hamas and to kill its leaders. One of its leaders is Yahya Sinwar. He's the guy who signs on the hostage deal.
Yeah, I know he is.
Can you explain this complexity of, on one hand, Israel wanted him dead, but at the same time, he's the one who decides how many hostages are going to be released. I mean, just help us to understand how complex is that, and is this a way to, is this like a strategy to keep from Hamas to keep on releasing less hostages on the hope that he won't be targeted or will be.
You're asking me to kind of get into the psychology of Hamas, and I'm just not going to do that. What I can tell you is that the Israelis have a right and a responsibility to go after this threat posed by Hamas, and certainly as a part of doing that, to go after their leadership, which they have done. And they have talked about the leadership that they have been able to take off the battlefield of Hamas. It's a strategy that we executed ourselves against ISIS and against Al-Qaeda. There's a logic to going after the leadership of a network. But in the meantime, there are Hamas political leaders that Qatar has connections with and communications with that they are working with to secure the release of these hostages.
Thanks, Corinne. Just to follow up on the worthwhile thought remark that the president made, I understand he also said he's standing by his approach, but was he saying that he's open to conditioning aid in the future as well, given that this is something he described in that way?
I'm not going to get ahead of the president on this. I think he was very clear. Yes, it's a worthwhile fight. He acknowledged that. But he also said, in the same breath, that the approach that we've been taking thus far has produced outcomes and results that have not only benefited the Israeli people in terms of their security, but the people of Gaza in terms of humanitarian assistance and the release of so many Americans now just to walk out through the Rafah crossing. So we're going to keep working on those approaches, on results-based approaches.
Thank you, Admiral. Thank you.
Quick question.
Thank you so much.